When did the tattoos start coming into play?
On my face and my hands only. The rest of my whole body is tattooed. Only my private parts aren't tattooed.
And I'm telling you, this sport is the fakest group of tough guys you've ever been around.
How much heckling do you have to deal with?
Oh my God.
How much U.S. involvement was there in the attacks of 9/11?
And I mean, you're talking about the dude's intestines hanging from the ceiling, eyeballs hanging from the mirrors, pieces of his ear were on the floor. It was bad.
What really happened with Kobe's accident?
I've actually hooked up a few people, and a couple I hooked up is getting married now.
No
and I did
shit.
That. Yeah, one of my first videos I did maybe a couple of years ago. They just told me that they invited me to the wedding.
I've got to go home and take a nap. Like you're a child. I go home and nap in the middle of the day. If I ever took a nap in the middle of the day, I would never tell anybody ever.
You would have to hide.
In that year before 9/11, at the CIA, we were panic-stricken because we knew a major attack was coming and we had no idea when and where.
You there working when the decapitation happened? Would you be okay with being maybe a second or third wife?
My life changed the day Dan Severn fought in the UFC. I was 17 years old and a junior in high school, and I had no idea that wrestling made me a dangerous guy. And my friends did not treat me as though because you're the better wrestler than all of us, that you're the leader of the pack. It was Dan Severn going out and showing that wrestling is useful in a fight that got all us other wrestlers to open our eyes and go, oh, really? I didn't know that. We all assumed karate was, or we assumed that boxing was. My father told me himself. My father told me how important martial arts was, but that nothing beats boxing. And my dad was a wrestler, and I've been wrestling 8 or 9 years. And he told me, I'm sorry I had to get you into wrestling. I got you into boxing, but we couldn't find a boxing gym. So I grew up believing that the boxer beat up the wrestler. And Dan Severn is the one that changed everybody's mind on that.
Yeah.
And I hear what your point is on the art. I'm going to stand by the fact that the reason this works is conflict versus conflict resolution. I would prove my point by saying you could watch it on mute with a party full of people. The announcers don't matter. And I will share that people are going to leave awfully upset if you have a draw. You must have resolution. Whatever these two boys are fighting for. But there's got to be a winner and the's got to be a loser.
Then it becomes WWE.
Well, every 15 minutes, it's what it is. Every 15 minutes, somebody wins and they bring out the new guy.
See, Brittany, how would you feel if your son decided to follow dad's footsteps and join in MMA?
I would expect it. I mean, we know everything there needs to know about it, but I would also expect him to have about 18 other jobs. You're not just going to practice and coming home. You're not doing that. That's
you're not
ridiculous.
getting away with that at our house.
No, you better have backup plan after backup plan after backup plan.
Well, there's no such thing, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm trying to add to your thought, but there's no such thing as a full-time fighter.
No.
That's a code for a lazy man.
No.
You don't get to go to practice 2 times a day and act like you've somehow contributed to the world.
Yes. A man does not just have one job. And practice, takes 2 hours a day?
Yeah. Well, not to mention it's a game. It's practice.
Yes. I would be fine with it, but he knows that he should have other jobs. If he thinks he's going to go to training camp and leave his family, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah,
That's
training camp is just a
ridiculous.
code for I got a mistress in another town.
You want to get a break
training
from your
camp.
wife.
What a bunch of dorks. This
really
came
is.
from the boxing world. Now, why anybody on earth would try to copy things from the boxing world? I mean, you'll never bet a bigger bunch of dum-dums than boxers, but they were so quick in MMA. The word training camp finally came, and trainers, and the whole thing got really weird. But there's no such thing as a training camp. Anybody that tells his old lady that, it means you and the kids are driving me nuts, and I got a sidey a few towns down. See you in 3 months. Nobody has ever gone to a training camp in their life.
Basically. It's ridiculous.
What would you do?
So stupid.
What would you do at training camp?
It's basically Chopan.
It's so dumb.
So Gegard Mousasi was right.
Did Gegard out
Do you
this?
say that?
Gegard's a tough son of a bitch.
So Gegard was on our show, and we talked. Do you
Armenian?
know? Yes. So
Proud Armenian. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. You know what? You got to watch that episode. Do you know what Gegard's camp consisted of? So he was like, "So who am I fighting?" Well, it's you're fighting this wrestler. All right, cool. He'll get on the phone. He'll call one of his buddies who's a wrestler. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing Friday?" "Nothing. Do you want to just wrestle for a couple of hours and then I'll go home and have mom's
Dolma.
No,
that's what he had no official training camp.
Zero.
And we were like, and you became a Bellator champion? He goes, yeah, you don't really need a camp. You just got to show up.
You
And
don't need a camp. My God, how many men are out there, farmers? I mean, doing multiple things. It's like they're babies. Professional athletes are babies. Fighters are babies.
They should be
live a
embarrassed.
child's game. They get paid millions of dollars, and they're babies.
They should be embarrassed
you,
to
but
say
you-
this is what I do for a
Yeah.
living and act like that's it.
so, okay,
You're right about that.
Chael's got a fight coming up, for example.
Yeah.
What was you didn't have a training camp?
Well, we went to practice every single day. I never missed practice.
But how many hours?
Well, the morning would be about an hour and 15 minutes. That's with warm up and everything, but an hour and about 45 minutes really hard. And then the afternoon, you'd be there for 2 hours, but you'd probably train for about an hour and 40 minutes. Then you get the cool down, the visit with the guys, maybe, some 20 minutes in the sauna. But yeah, they were really intense and they were really hard. And there was times in the middle of the day where you would have a recovery phase. But, I had teammates that hadn't made it up the card yet. They didn't have that kind of pay structure. They did the same work that I did. They were there at 6 a.m. They were leaving the gym at 9 p.m. And they were building houses in between, or they were painting houses in between, or whatever their profession used to be. So, that's another thing that these lazy MMA guys have sold themselves on, that I must recover. I've got to go home and take a nap. Like you're a child. I go home and nap in the middle of the day. If I ever took a nap in the middle of the day, I would never tell anybody ever.
You would have to hide.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine being a grown
can't
man. I said,
imagine.
I took a nap in the middle of the day to recover from my evening training. So
But truly, like other men, like you don't do nap in the middle of the day. Like, what are you
you
doing?
must understand.
I
though.
nap twice a day, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah. At 2
Before or
p.m.
after
and-
your warm milk?
What if somebody called?
Well, I just told everybody.
Would you say I'm napping? Oh my God! If my son ever grabbed and
Oh
told
my
somebody
God.
Dad's in bed,
But
No,
there's
he's got an auto text that says, "Just had my warm milk. I'll call you in an hour."
But in a lot of countries like Japan, Iran, certain countries, even Europe, a lot of European countries, they have an hour, 2 hours for nap time. Everybody, businesses are closed.
Bro, that's,
I'm not kidding you.
I'm not going to say what
In
I'm saying.
Japan, doctors' offices, right, in healthcare especially, they've got a sleep room after lunch. You got to go take an hour nap, and then you come back and you continue your
Oh,
work.
knock it off! Look how many
I'm not
things you
kidding
could
you.
get
but what's a
done
work
in
day?
that time.
Is it an 8-hour work day in Japan?
No way.
That would surprise me.
You think it's more or
Less.
Less?
I think so.
How are they so efficient if it's less?
I don't
Less than
know.
8 hours, and they take a nap.
I don't think it's less than 8 hours.
So what? What are they working from then? What from what
Remember
time
in
to what
Iran?
time?
I mean, your parents are from Iran. Everybody had nap time in Iran. They
I
would
don't.
drink
I don't.
their-
I don't
they
remember.
would- well, you're not from Iran.
I was
Your
having
parents are.
naps.
Ask your dad. Go home. Ask your dad. Dad, didn't you come home from work, had your lunch, had your tea, and then you have to take a nap and go back to work?
I got to ask my
That's how
dad
it
this
was.
question now.
That's how it was
Sure.
in Iran. Yeah.
Sure.
That's-
I will tell you on MMA guys though, I personally have never been around a faker group of tough guys than MMA fighters. To watch some of these guys, you get called to go to work 3 times a year. Do you know how many guys call in sick? I mean, I don't put LeBron James down as a tough guy. I don't put Tiger Woods or Serena down as tough guys. They would never not show up. They would never sit down and want to renegotiate based on who the next game is against. Like this is exclusive to MMA. And of those 3 times a year that they get called to go to work, they don't show up. His elbow hurts or his knee hurts. I couldn't imagine my elbow or knee not hurting. I couldn't imagine not making that walk when it's your time. But these aren't real tough guys. These are fake tough guys that want to cut the line down at the local strip club, get a tattoo on their shoulder, tell somebody about the good old day. I mean, the best of them, the best of them, which I would have to put is John Jones. You can't get him to show up for work 3 times a year. If John's not going to do it, why would anybody else?
But you don't think with MMA, for instance, right? If you look, you were comparing basketball and tennis, and for example, if LeBron James loses 10 games, 30 games in the season, doesn't change anything.
Sure.
Worst case, they won't go into the playoffs, or they won't make the conference finals or finals, whatever the outcome may be. But an individual sport, especially MMA, where you're only fighting once, twice, maybe 3 times a year, you lose 1 or 2, you're down the ranks. Your chances of ever making the big bucks or becoming a champion are pretty much slim to none at that point.
Sure.
You don't think that's the reason why a lot of MMA fighters are particular about kind of picking and choosing their opponents? I mean, look at Mayweather even. Mayweather was picking a lot of his opponents, and that's why he's 50-0.
I think there's a truth to what you're saying. I'm just sharing. If you got out a calculator and a pencil, the math doesn't change. If a guy will only do one fight this year and one fight next year, and he gets it, I mean, you're not getting better with time. His odds of winning aren't going to change. If he wants to delay the inevitable, which is the pink slip in the end of his career, go ahead. But I will tell you, I grew up in the sport of wrestling. And we would have 5 matches every Saturday. We'd have a dual meet on Thursday. You know, you're putting in almost 30 matches a month with weigh-ins. And that's a big deal. The number one reason that a fighter retires is not because his contract's up or he can't do it anymore. The number one reason you ever hear of a guy retiring is he doesn't want to make weight anymore. And that's just an interview that doesn't settle well with the world. So you just say thank you and I'm done. But it's that lifestyle. It's what goes into it, the changing of your physiology, getting up early, getting those runs in, not having enough food. The number one reason, the reason we didn't get Khabib versus Conor part 2, and the UFC changed all the numbers, and it goes from 2 million to 4 million, they changed all the numbers. They didn't look at the right number. If they would have made that 170 pounds as opposed to 155 pounds, they would have gotten that fight. But the number one reason people retire, they just got faced with this with Islam. It's like, look, you can cut Islam's career short like you did Khabib's, or you can let him go up to 170, but he's not going to beat that scale over and over and over again. It's the hardest part of the sport. And I'll just tell you, because you brought up some of these other sports or a guy delaying it. You're delaying the inevitable. You're not going to, you got to win the fights you can win when you can win them. And if you can't do it today, your chances don't go up that you can do it tomorrow. But I will tell you, from the sport of amateur wrestling, if I can just finish this thought, I have never seen a guy miss weight. I've been to every NCAA tournament in the last 34 years. They've never had somebody not miss weight. I could not tell you in Olympic Games, and I know it's not a literal statement, but I couldn't tell you, and I'm pretty good at this, where an athlete missed weight. We will have an MMA show every Saturday between the organizations, and you are guaranteed that somebody will miss weight.
I mean, we've had a half a dozen probably MMA fighters over the years on the show, and I still don't understand what's the point of cutting weight. Like, if you're walking around at 190, why don't you just fight at 185? Or
I mean, it's obvious, man. It's to have an advantage over your fighter.
Why go down to 155? That's it. Like, even this weekend when I took my son to, I was telling you in the car, to the local MMA fights, right? I mean, his coach is a tiny guy. And he had gone from 151 down to 134. And he's a small guy. 16 pounds, that's a big, huge weight loss for him.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering, okay, why don't you just fight around 150? Why do you need to cut down to 134?
And it ends careers, by the way. It cuts their career short. Dude, all those guys, Olympic champion and NCAA champion, but if you look at them, they're all retired by 27. And it's not because they can't do the game. They don't want to make the weight.
And there's a reason why they don't televise the actual weigh-ins anymore.
Sure.
Because a lot of these guys don't look healthy, man.
Yep.
They look malnourished.
But how come nobody fights at that weight? That's what
it's to have an advantage. Chael, what were you walking around at in your prime?
About 202 pounds.
So he's cutting down to 185, and then by fight night, what are you at? Are you
202?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, 15 pounds for a 200.
Point. Yeah, I get your point fully, and it's largely an American phenomenon. Like if you take the guys in the Eastern Bloc, or we were talking about Artur earlier, if I'm saying his name right,
yeah, Artur Alexander.
He cuts 2 kilograms, which is 4.4 pounds.
But he's a heavyweight.
Sure, well, 211 now, but he competes at close to what he weighs. He's not carrying any extra body weight. But I'm just sharing with you, the Russians don't cut a lot of weight. The Eastern Blocs don't cut a lot of weight. The Cubans don't cut a lot of weight. It's an American phenomenon. If I should be 185, I'm going to try for 170, and I'll do great at 155. That is a thought of children's dads.
But how are you going to do great if you're saying there's an advantage? There's no advantage if your opponent is doing the same thing. It's not like your opponent is walking around 145 and competing at 145.
Well, it's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses. If he's doing it, I'm going to be doing it. He's going to be doing it. He's going to be doing it. Everybody's going to be doing
Feels
it.
Like you're forced. Feels like you're forced to do it.
At that point, you are.
I don't think Fedor ever cut weight.
Well, Fedor was a heavyweight. Fedor just had to be under 265, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he weighed about 236. But it's an excellent point. I'll share this with you. When those guys cut weight, it's largely their fathers that are making them do it. Like I see it. We have kids that are 8 and 9 and 10 years old, and they got the sweatsuits on. They're spitting into a cup trying to lose this weight. It really is a disadvantage. Yeah. I mean, when I watch the kids do it, I don't understand. I cut weight one time, and my father stood there and let me do it, and he didn't say one word. He let me do it. When we got done, he said, "You're a chicken shit." And I said, why do you say that? Like everyone that I ever looked up to cut weight. I was a young kid. I was doing what all these other guys. And he said, because you didn't cut weight to wrestle somebody, you cut weight to get away from somebody. And it's true. And you'll never meet a guy that cuts weight for a harder fight. He's cutting weight to get away from what he perceives to be a harder fight. And I'm telling you, this sport is the fakest group of tough guys you've ever been around.
But I feel like that just happened. That's when it became the art. It's an art.
Yeah.
What's
Like-
considered a tough guy?
Well, like an actual tough guy, first off, does not take naps in the middle of the day. An actual tough guy would have more pride for himself and his family to even take like you would know what to lie. You would never say I was at home sleeping. A tough guy doesn't talk about recovery. A tough guy doesn't act like going to work 3 times a year is a lot. A tough guy doesn't pull up an ass whipping contest because he's got a broken forearm or sore shin. A tough guy will understand that in a real life situation, if things are going to jump off, you don't say to the other guy, what do you weigh? Hold on. Let me get on the scale. Okay, you know what? My shoulder's bothering me, but if I could just have a couple of weeks to prepare for this, that's not what a tough guy does.
Any blue collar man is a tough guy.
Any blue collar man is a tough guy.
I mean, truly.
Yes. My father was a plumber. He was a tough guy.
Wake
he
up
got
early,
up every day.
Go to work, take care of the kids.
No excuses.
That's a tough guy.
Dirty hands. You got dirty hands 24/7. You're a tough guy.
Son of a.
What the hell was that, bro?
You okay?
Yeah, man. Oh, Megeredchian Law. We should call Alex.
If you've been injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or work injury, reach out to Megeredchian Law today.
At Megeredchian Law, we maximize your compensation, you get constant client communication, and we win when it matters most. When you're involved in an accident, choosing the right attorney is the most important decision you can make. Let us show you why we're different at Megeredchian Law. With 11 attorneys on our team, we're able to go to trial and fight for your case. More important, the pedigree of our firm is customer service, so you always get a call, you always get an update. Lastly, we're results driven. We win. Let us show you how. Call us at 818-530-1300 or bestcaraccidentattorney.com.
If you've been injured in a car accident, trip and fall, nerve, muscle, joint, any sort of pain at all, hit up Dr. Rafi. He'll take care of everything from A to Z. What's the number at?
818-407-0007.
And tell him the Wisenuts sent you.
May 17th, Alex Theater, I'm shooting my very first stand-up comedy special. I've shot some other stuff on like Amazon Prime for like it's called Jack Jr. Live in Las Vegas, so which is like a shorter set. And then I shot like a couple crowd work specials. But this is my very first stand-up comedy special, and it's kind of going to tell you, it's kind of going to show you my whole life. Like, it's kind of like how Joe Coy's first special talked about his whole life coming up, and Sebastian Maniscalco's first special. I'm trying to do what Sebastian did for Italians. I'm trying to do that for Armenians and hybrids, Mexicans, you know? So I'm trying to teach everybody that it's okay to be different.
So why the Alex Theater?
I chose the Alex Theater because I'm born and raised in Glendale, and I drove by that theater every day as a kid, you know, and so many legendary people I've seen. It's just like it's my home. So it's like something I've always wanted to do. It's like a bucket list of mine. I got to perform there last year with Vlad Berberian, Antic, and Kevorkian. We did the Armenian Kings of Comedy, and I realized that I needed to do this for myself. So I'm tired of waiting for Netflix or Hulu to be like, hey, we're going to shoot your special. So I said, I figured, well, I'm going to do what every up-and-coming comic does. They fund it, they shoot it, they edit it, and then they pitch it themselves.
Oh.
I'm going to give them the final product. They're here. You want it? No? Okay.
Next.
Let's move on, you know? I'm tired of waiting. You know, that's the main thing with comedians, man. We wait. Look, I've been doing comedy 16 years, and I haven't shot a special because I've been waiting, you know?
Well, again, I don't know exactly what goes into the writing aspect of it. What I do know is it's all about storytelling.
Yeah.
And we've noticed with a lot of your stand-up comedy, there's a lot of storytelling in it. Recently, you've been doing a lot of the crowd work and stuff.
Yeah.
You've actually been doing a lot of like freaking dating games as well, man.
Yeah, so I've been doing the dating game for a long time with Armenians because I feel like everyone comes to my shows and they're either looking for someone or basically Armenians are very hard to like. Mexicans are they're good. They have babies. They have families right away.
They're fertile.
Armenians are the ones that take forever. You know, they like I know a girl who's like a 40-year-old virgin. And she goes, Jack, everyone wants a virgin. I go, yeah, when they're 20. You know, like I said, like I'm trying to get people connected. I'm trying to repopulate the Armenian population. And I feel like the problem with the Armenians is that we wait so long to hook up that you miss your train. You know, like you're like, okay, now I'm 40 and single and I'm not, what are you doing? You know, no kids. I'm saying, so I just feel like I've been connecting people together, and I've actually hooked up a few people, and a couple I hooked up is getting married now.
No,
and I did
shit.
that. Yeah, one of my first videos I did maybe a couple of years ago. They just told me that they invited me to the wedding. They're getting married, and I did that. I connected them.
You should actually marry them.
Yeah, but they don't want to pay me.
They don't want to.
Douchebag. It's like, instead of you saying, you know what, I'd be honored to marry you guys. They don't want to pay me.
They live far.
Where they live? Let them fly you out.
I think it was in Dallas. I was Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
Oh,
I perform everywhere. A lot of people think, oh, where do you perform at? I perform all over the world.
If you're watching, get his first class tickets. You don't have to pay him for the ceremony.
Yes.
But get his first class tickets at least.
Yeah, and I have some exciting news that I wanted to share with you guys. This is the first place I'm going to announce it. No, this is a Wisenuts exclusive. I haven't even told you guys. I'm doing my very first show in Armenia.
No way.
Yeah, dude. July 24th at the Hard Rock Hotel. Yeah, dude.
So you're going to Armenia.
I'm going to Armenia for the first time.
Are you taking us with you?
You want to come? You can come, man. I'm going there for 2 weeks.
I didn't say we're going to come. You're going to take us. You know what the difference is?
You can come.
No, you'll take
You can go in the cargo plane.
Or your Qatar. Qatar plane.
Yeah, so like one of the main things on I have a big Armenian following, and I get a lot of messages from Armenians in Armenia. When are you going to come to Armenia? And I always say next year. I'm waiting for someone to book me. Hasn't happened. So I said, why not do it myself? So I got the venue. It's confirmed, the July 24th in Armenia. I'll be in Armenia performing at the Hard Rock Hotel.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
What are you expecting from an Armenian crowd in Armenia?
I don't know.
Fuck, bro.
I'm excited because it's going to be a challenge.
It's a culture shock for you. You know that, right?
100%.
Because it's very, very different over there.
Oh, 100%, bro. It's like performing it's like seeing Hyacinths everywhere, right?
Well, yes and no. It's not very, very different anymore.
Have you been there?
2.5 years ago, yeah. It's not as different.
And your old cast guy he's there now, right?
Yeah, he moved. Edgar's there permanently.
Edgar's there, right? That's why I have a translator.
Well, July, when you go in July, it'll be his 1 year anniversary in Armenia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm
going in July. And I chose July too because a lot of cool stuff's happening in July. It's summertime. So a lot of the diaspora, I learned that word recently, the diaspora are all going to be there. A lot of the Pan-Armenian games are going to be there. And Vardavar, I'm going to experience Vardavar for the first time in Armenia.
That's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. The fans are excited. And I'm so excited to announce it right now. Like, you're literally the first. I haven't told anybody. My agent doesn't even know. I did it myself. My agent couldn't get me booked in Armenia. He's like, we've reached out to all the theaters and no one's responding to them.
Well, dude, I'm so happy that you've actually come out and embraced the Armenian side of you so much recently.
100%. You know me from Hoover. I wasn't Armenian.
You weren't.
I was Mexican and basketball player. It's not that I didn't want to be Armenian. It's just that
side of you had not come out yet.
But the reason why was because everyone picked on me so much that I wasn't Armenian enough because I was Mexican. And then it was almost like I was bullied to the point where like I couldn't, like, imagine, it's kind of funny. Like, you're gay, right? You're like in the closet.
Imagine
you're like this and you're like, oh my God. And you're bully that you never want to come out. Right? Yeah. That's how I kind of felt with being Armenian. I'm like, let me be Armenian, you know? So now I'm Armenian, man. It feels great.
For a minute. Yeah. Did you?
What happened?
You're like, imagine he's like,
bro, when I tell everyone I'm Armenian, I would literally get Armenians would tell me, "Hey, why are you trying to be Armenian?"
No, man,
bro. Like I'm like 13. I'm like, I'm not trying. My dad's Armenian. I'm Armenian. So it's nice to finally be accepted by the community, and I feel like I have a responsibility. Like, I've been very active with what's going on over there in Armenia with the war, with all this, all that. I've been doing fundraisers, and I've been very involved in the community. I'm very proud to be Armenian. Very proud. And which is crazy because I've been losing my Latino audience because it's like this guy only does Armenian content. And it's not because I only do Armenian content. It's because the Armenian community has been so supportive at my shows that when I do these videos, I make fun of people who are at my front row.
Yeah.
And majority Armenians love VIP. So that's what happens. It's like, okay, every video is Armenian because all the Mexicans are in the back.
But the ticket prices are the same for front or back, no?
No, front is more.
It's more expensive.
VIP, better.
Table, VIP, bottle service.
VIP, I want, yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, some Armenians buy from home. They text me, make fun of my wife.
You know, the funniest was when last year we hired you to be the main attraction for the nonprofit, and one of my friends who's super shy, and he showed up with his new girlfriend at the time, and somehow ended up sitting right in front of you. Remember?
Oh yeah, in the front, the gangster guy, right?
Yeah, not gangster guy. Where he's
he looked gangster.
He's a programmer, bro.
Whatever. He looked like he programmed her.
Well, the hour and a half, this guy just went at him.
I went after him,
and
Bro, I was there.
You were there too.
I was
right?
there. I mean, that was one highlight of the show. The second highlight was
Daniel.
no fucking. Well, yeah, Daniel was another highlight, but
the girl's boob job.
The TV not working.
Oh, the TV not working.
And the
Oh, my
PowerPoint
God.
presentation.
I go, why are these fundraisers have a PowerPoint presentation? Look, this is where the money's going.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
I'm like,
trust me, I'm not stealing your money.
trust me, the money's leaving this account, going in this one.
Bro, the funniest part was Jack and I were standing in the back and we're watching this disaster take place where they're bringing a TV in, taking a TV out, and then Jack's like, bro, imagine they just bring an iPad, they just fucking duct tape it to the TV.
No, because the thing was the day prior we tested out the projector.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine, and then day of the event not working.
It was
disaster.
yeah, that was a fun show. It was so weird.
My God,
It was
hilarious,
too much.
bro.
It was too many people. It was too bright. It wasn't a comedy club setting. It felt like a TED talk, and I would just.
But
like,
we raised a lot of money thanks to you.
We did.
Yeah,
That's
we did,
awesome,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, we did.
I like to. How much did they raise?
It was 30 something, 36.
That's crazy, man. So one of these events, I'm like, that's so awesome, bro.
And
that makes me. We donated over, I think, like 16,000 to Sahag Mesro Armenian School recently.
Yeah.
We did that.
You know, that was like a block away from my senior facility.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The school was literally a street away. Mine was one block east of that school and completely.
So were you happy or sad?
No, I mean, it's a big loss. It doesn't.
I know I'm talking about for you. Did you want to lose your building?
No, of course not. Nobody does. I mean, people think, you insurance money.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, you got the building money, and then what?
That's what I was wondering about that. How is that happening right now with insurance? Are people going to be compensated?
Well, there's a lot of people that are selling their properties now because they can't. Number one, they can't wait to rebuild. They don't know how long the rebuild process is going to take, and some of the people were underinsured as well. So one of our sponsors, Public Assist, who helps deal with these cases.
Got it.
So if you reach out to Ara is actually he's the one that will look over your policy and make sure you're properly insured, just in case.
He's a lawyer?
No, he's not a lawyer. He's a public adjuster, basically.
Public adjuster.
Yeah. So instead of dealing with the insurance, so the insurance gives you the constant runaround, you reach out to him and he'll make sure your insurance is properly written or underwritten. So God forbid if something were to happen like that, or you have, a pipe burst in your house or property damage, anything like that, Ara will make sure you're covered from A to Z, and he'll deal with the insurance companies.
Got it.
Just like attorneys do with car accidents.
Yeah.
Armand Gregorian, same situation. He's one of our sponsors as well.
YAN or IAN?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, but Armand as well.
It's amazing.
You get into a car accident, you reach out to them, they deal with the insurance instead, so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's the main thing, bro. So those phone calls those paperwork and phone calls. Ugh, hate that.
Bro, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of day, and they do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But anyways, speaking of comedy shows, let me ask you this. With all the Armenians now coming to your comedy shows, how much heckling do you have to deal with?
Oh my God. It's been it's getting worse and worse. Not worse because I embrace it. Like when people heckle me, like I tear them apart. I'm just like I just have it like jokes in the clips. Like it's just like it's funny. It keeps the flow going of the show. The problem is sometimes people don't know when to like, okay, you lost the battle. Like, you know, he says something and then I say something and he says something and I say something and now it looks like we're arguing. Like it always like when you get roasted, like if the audience says something funnier than I do, I'll be like, oh man, you got me. That was good. And I'll end it. But sometimes some people get like mad. They go, no, fuck you. Like,
they get defensive.
They get mad and defensive. And I'm like, bro, I'm just joking. I remember one time I go, man, why you acting like a bitch? All right. And he goes, don't call my wife a bitch. And I said, I didn't call her a bitch. I went, call her a bitch. You know, it was just like comedic timing joke. But people get sensitive, and I just like it because it's I say what people are thinking and what they want to say, and I just say it. Like I'm like, and it's not. I only do that at my shows. I'm like that in real life. In real life, I talk to my parents like that, my kids like that. Like I have no filter.
There was one incident with Maz Jabroni where Maz Jabroni said he called somebody in the front row motherfucker.
Yeah. And the Armenian guy got mad.
Armenian guy got mad.
Then stood up. Oh, don't call me motherfucker. Yeah. Fuck you. It was bad.
And then you came out and said, what's up, motherfucker?
And I go, what the fuck? I go, what's up, motherfucker? And then he didn't say anything. I roasted him.
So what happened there? Did he just realize that, oh, you know what? He's one of me. He's Armenian guy.
No, so the reason, so it's all about stage presence. I feel like the problem with what happened in that situation, when Maz was doing that, he kind of, he not showed weakness, but kind of like
he's a Democrat. Just say it.
But he didn't like own it. Like if I say like, ha, you're gay, I own it. I'm saying it. I'm roasting you. But I feel like he kind of pulled back because I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, and then he gave the Armenian guy power to get more mad. I go pa 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 pa, and it's funny. That guy's name is what's his name? Buzant. The guy's whole family loves me because they follow my shows. They come to my shows. He's great. He goes, because of you, you made me famous. That video hit like almost 800,000 views. So
that was a crazy one.
Yeah,
bro.
It was a good video.
But you handled it well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. He was great. He was. Yeah, there's always situations like that, but it's gonna be fun. I never had a serious issue at a show ever.
Oh, thank God.
Like if it's gonna be like, you know.
Well,
I remember one time I looked in an Armenian guy's man purse. I took his purse and there was a gun in there.
No shit.
Yeah, and I go, what a zinc. I think it was Buzant. No, somebody. One of them had a gun in his purse.
Well, speaking of serious, recently you posted something about your health.
Yeah.
So you had a EKG done. You had a bunch of stuff.
Pap smear.
Oh my God. So like, what'd you say?
You had a pap smear too. No, I recommend.
You said that. You had pap smear.
What happened? What's going on?
I do this with myself. I overwork myself. I overwork and I don't know when to like turn it off or slow down. I just kind of just keep grinding, hustling, next city, new show. Like perfect example, like last night I had a show, right? My show ended around midnight because I do meet and greet, pictures, la, la, la. I went to my hotel room. I slept 2 hours. I woke up. I was in the airport by 3:30. I got on the plane at 5. I got home, took my wife and kids to when had Mossy's. We went to go eat. And then I dropped them off and I came here. And it's just always like that. I'm always moving. I'm either meeting, writing, editing, shooting, performing, running jokes by you, filming. I'm always moving. So finally, I remember I was like doing an interview with somebody and I just couldn't breathe. I was like, shortness of breath. I had an inhaler. I was bad. So then I go, I'm gonna go to the hospital. And they said they're just running all these tests on me, did an EKG. And I basically need to take it easy. Like I have high uric acid. I eat too much red meat and lobster and I have borderline gout. I'm overweight. They recommended me Ozempic. I'm like, I'm not gonna take it. So lately, like the past 3-4 days, I've been eating healthy and working out.
You did that at one point where you were kind of cautious about what you were eating. We saw you on the treadmill. You were working out. You were walking a lot, and then you let it go.
I let it go.
Why?
Because I follow these routines. I had 2 kids back to back, and I try to spend as much time as I can with my kids when I'm in town. And I feel like working out on this, like I can be helping with the kid. I feel bad. My wife's like, she's the best, man. But I give a shout out to all you women out there. If you're watching, like you guys have the hardest job in the world, man. Raising kids is no freaking joke. Like I don't care how hard you work. If you're construction, if you're a firefighter, whatever you do, raising kids is the hardest thing, dude. At least from the ages from 0 to 5. You know, once you get older, they're in school. But right, you have kids. You know what's up, right?
Yeah, of course.
You watch your kids?
No,
No.
I'm not involved at all.
You don't have kids at all?
I see them once a month.
How often you see your kids? Is it because how do you see them once a month?
Because they're gay. I don't want to see them that often.
You trying to be funny? It's not funny. Oh my god, so bad. This is one thing I hate about people. They come around me, they're trying to do jokes, and they're not funny.
But you felt awkward. You're just like,
Okay.
Hold on. What do you mean I'm not? Hold on a sec. When you were doing the act that are nonprofit.
Listen, you're not gonna make me cry. All right?
I did your opening act, bro. What are you talking about?
When?
During the nonprofit event.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh, you're not being funny. Bitch, they wanted me on Netflix. I said, no, get this guy. I don't.
Yeah, DEI, Mexican Armenian.
Exactly.
Yes.
DEI. Take these guys.
No, but in all honesty, you're absolutely right. Kids from the ages of 0 to like, I think 5, it's tough, man. It's tough.
so
and
tough.
you have 5 kids.
I got 5 kids, and I got 20-year-old, 16, 15, 3 and 1.
20, 16, 15,
3 and 1.
How old is Dominic?
Dominic's turning 16 in August.
So Dominic and his stepbrother are very close in age.
Very close.
How is their relationship?
Good. The thing is, Dominic lives with his mom up north.
Oh,
So I only see him like when I go
Once
over
a
there.
month.
Like I see him once a month.
There you go.
I wish I could see him once a month. I FaceTime him all the time. You know, he's doing really good though. I'm so proud of him, man. Like I was so hard on him as a kid when he was a kid, and he really works hard. He actually he's got straight A's, and I'm just so like my baby mama did a good job because like she was the one always on him, but I just feel like he's a good kid, man. He's a really good kid.
and how's your relationship with him? With you seeing him like so?
So when I see him, we do fun stuff. You know, I have him. I take him to theme parks. We go to movies. We play games. We talk. Right now he's at this age where he's like he wants to be a gamer and this that. But he earns everything he has. I totally parent him differently than my stepkids. You know, because I feel like sometimes I feel like it's not my place to discipline. You know, they're your stepkids, but slowly I'm transitioning. You know. But it's hard. It's hard being a stepfather, dude. It's very hard. It's so hard.
Well, yeah, because there are certain boundaries you kind of don't want to cross.
Yeah.
Because when you cross over those boundaries and you think it's okay to cross over, you don't know what the retaliation might be from them.
Yeah.
And then from the wife as well.
I actually talk about it in my new special. I'm gonna do one of the jokes right now. So like with Tristan, his father hasn't been around in a long time because he was substance abuse and he was just out of the picture completely. Maybe for 8 years since I've been with her, wasn't in the picture. I paid for Tristan for sports, school, clothing, braces. He's my kid. I took full responsibility, and I'm proud to do it today still. So then recently he's like a new person. He's trying to like be back in Tristan's life. And then my wife's like, I don't want nothing from him. I'm like, whoa, let's hear him out.
Maybe let's negotiate
Let's
here.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Is there a second income? But yeah, I just feel like my favorite part of the day is being a parent because they give me so much material. You know, your kids are funny, man. They do stupid things, and I just love seeing it, man. I'm pretty sure your kids are. How old are your kids?
Well, my younger one is 3. My older one is 7.
So they do funny stuff all the time, right?
They're characters.
They're
bro.
hilarious,
They're
right?
characters. I mean, Arnold was talking about it today with his son Noah.
Yeah, last night we were out to dinner, and I wish he would let me film him. He has this sense of humor that, like a George Carlin level. I'm like, dude, where do you come up with this stuff? The things, and then I crack up. He thinks like I'm just being nice to him.
Oh,
he's like, you're just laughing. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like,
funny.
literally, you're like, where do you come up with this material?
Yeah, man. It's just like right now, like my oldest Nathan, my stepson, my other son, he's 20, right? He's at home, he's living with us, right? He moved out with his girlfriend. 6 months later, she lost her apartment. She technically lives with us now. Right? So it's like, what the hell's going on? Now I have a daughter.
Daughter-in-law.
Right? So my main thing is like, I don't want him and her to be bunking in the room every night because, like, God forbid, she gets pregnant. I'm a freaking 39-year-old grandfather. So I've been putting Plan B in her coffee. That's what I'm putting. I'm going to do that. This is stuff I think of. This is a comedian to me. I just write jokes like that.
Do you have any plans of possibly in the future finding your significant other?
In Iran?
No, anywhere. It
Where
doesn't
did
matter.
we go from depression to this?
Why not?
Everything is fate, okay? I can't control it.
No, I was going to
do you
ask
ever
about
plan
the
on getting married?
relationship.
Every time I'm about to proceed in something like this, something happens to get me out because from what I've seen, it feels like I have a mission in life and God wants me to be a voice of some sorts. And then perhaps if he sees it fit, then it's time to get married and have a family.
So would
but
you
I'm
be
getting older, I'm not getting younger.
Would you be okay with being maybe a second or third wife?
No. I've
Why
tried,
not?
actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, there were proposals in Saudi Arabia and Jordan.
So why didn't you accept it?
Well, because realistically, when I've seen the way everything is, if I'm not a priority, if I'm not prioritized at this point in my life, I don't think I can be in anything. Not even a community of volunteers or even a paid group of a job.
But how could you not be priority if in Sharia law?
It's not going to be priority. Not my case.
How? You're Muslim.
No. Why? In my case, it's
You're
not
supposed to be. They're treating you equally.
It's not going to be equal. Not for me.
Why? You're a Muslim.
Yes,
Talar.
but this is why it says if you can't do it, marry one or don't marry that girl.
But what if he is going to treat you equally?
It's not going to happen. Why is it not equal? I'll tell you exactly why. All these women, they're going to have mothers and fathers.
Okay.
And sisters and brothers. I don't have this in my life. Already, it's not equal. Meaning, if you have 1 or 2 wives or 4 wives, each day, there's a different you spend with the wife. And the kids are going to spend with the parents or his parents. So, do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Because my parents are not involved. It's not going to be equal.
So whatever is written in the Quran doesn't make sense for you.
No, it does make sense. I don't think you're understanding what I'm trying to say.
I understand. You do have brothers and sisters. It's
unless I marry a man who has a very similar situation with his wives are very similar to mine. None of them have parents, and then it's not going to be equal.
So then, what does it say in the Quran? Does it say that emotionally
as well?
Okay, so emotionally. So if Talar has no relationship with her brother, her sister, her mother, I have to marry somebody else as a second wife who has a brother. Or imagine this. Imagine if you were married to an individual, right? And he said, you know what, Talar, I found our second wife. But she has a brother and she has a sister and she has a phenomenal relationship.
You sign marriage contract. You put it on the contract. She has the right to do this. A Muslim woman has the right to say, my husband is not allowed to marry another woman, and he has to abide to it if he signs it. If he signs that contract,
she has the right.
In Sharia law, all the Islamic countries abide by this. If he agreed on the legal contract, where the imam, the sheikh, is signing that he's present, that he's not allowed to marry another woman because she's an orphan, she doesn't have family, and she needs priority, more attention on her and less attention on other wives and their kids, then I have every right to take him to court. Everything.
I feel like you're finding an excuse for that.
No, this is reality.
No,
I've been through it.
No. I'm not saying it's not reality. I'm saying it is reality.
I was open to it at one point, but like I said, I've seen how it is. It's not going to work for me.
So you're probably never going to get married.
But that's a personal choice in a sense.
Probably not. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem. I'm a very strong woman. I'm not saying I'm superior. There's times where I'm like, oh, if I had a husband, this would be easier on me.
Now,
help me around, fix this or fix that, do this. Of course, I'm not a feminist. Like I hate men. No, obviously not.
Before you changed religions to Islam, you were a Christian woman living in Canada. You obviously had, relationships with other men, right?
Look, I don't have a problem if a man has another woman and he's being good to her according to Islamic law. That's not my issue. This is just a personal thing of myself where I'm, like I said, going back to go home or go hard or go home. feeling that I have. My father was very loyal to my mom because he had a devout way of a lifestyle. And usually that gets passed on to the daughters. We have to be honest. So even if I tried, it's not going to work.
Would you ever marry a Christian?
No, I'm not allowed.
Why not?
It's not. It's against the religion. I'm not allowed.
Have you ever been inside of a church?
If I go and get a Muslim
She's been
marriage,
inside a
they're going to
church.
say, no, you're not allowed to marry a Muslim Christian.
She was a Christian. How could she not be
No,
inside of a church, bro?
No, because it's
And I don't believe in turning the guy Muslim to marry me.
In Egypt, they didn't allow Christians to go into the specific.
I've never heard this.
We were on a thing. We're 10 days in Egypt. You know, the tour bus takes you around to different. They had a holy site. They wouldn't allow.
one of our guests we had in the past. They said that
In Jordan, they allow. In UAE, they allow. In Syria, they allow. In
There were
Iran,
specific
they allow.
ones
In
they
Iraq,
allowed us
they
in there,
allow.
but there was this one holy site they wouldn't allow.
Only
anyone.
Saudi Arabia, the Kaaba, they don't
they don't what?
allow. Only Muslims for the Black Stone.
Ah,
Interesting.
Muslims.
Because I forgot which guest it was that we had on. He said that he had a bunch of Christian friends, and his friends would hang out, they would play, they would go out and have lunch, go to school, but his parents would tell him, you are not allowed to go to church. You cannot walk into an Armenian church.
A Muslim said that?
Yes.
Look, you're allowed as a Muslim to have Christian friends, but when it comes to certain celebrations like birthdays and so on, if you want to be present there in a Christmas like family gathering, but actually like doing a festive under like Halloween, these things are not recommended. This is the basics.
Yeah.
Now, whatever he interprets it more than that, it's cultural based and it's prejudice. It's like us saying, we're Armenians, we're Christians, but realistically, Christians in the Christian doctrine, in the Islamic doctrine, you can marry a Black, a Chinese, any other nationality and race because you're a Muslim first, and same with Christianity. But there's going to be in every culture people that say, yeah, I'm Christian first or I'm Muslim first, but there's still a little racist or prejudice. It's something similar to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think it's built in every single human's DNA to have some sort of prejudice or racism in there.
Do you think every single?
I think so.
every single.
I think so. It's
It's
inevitable.
part of human nature.
It's conditioning from childhood for sure.
well, no,
That's part of-
that
so how do you get human nature? It's through
Yeah.
conditioning.
yeah, the ones that are actually groomed are the ones that are dangerous. Those the ones, because little boys, little girls, when they're out playing amongst one another, they don't see religion, they don't see color,
Yeah, that's what I'm
they don't
saying.
see any of that stuff. They're groomed into it. But obviously, as you grow older and you become more knowledgeable of race, religion, and stuff, it's just human nature. You begin to judge certain things. But we're gonna wrap this up soon. One thing we want to talk about is the tattoos now. When did the tattoos start coming into play?
After my dad died
When did your dad pass away?
a long time ago.
So, but you got the tattoos here in Armenia, though. You said
On my face and my hands only. The rest of my whole body is tattooed. Only my private parts aren't tattooed.
so. You got
I even have a tattoo on my head,
So you have sleeves,
full sleeve.
legs.
I haven't had any tattoos since I became a Muslim though.
Except for the face and hands.
No, even before this. I finished this and then I was on a mountain. There was a group of Armenians. We went to Jordan. Their intention is they want to be born again Christians. So I went. They got baptized at the Jordan River where Jesus was, baptized. We went to a lot of the prophets, pilgrimages. We went to an Armenian church. I almost died on a mountain. The Armenians again abandoned me. I have this luck with Armenians, Yet
you live in Armenia?
I'm still such a proud Armenian too. On top.
Yet she lives in Armenia.
Yeah, and I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack. It was extremely hot.
Heat stroke.
Yeah, probably. But this was right after I asked God to kill me. I'm not kidding you. Remember that when I was saying I was in a depressive state? That's why I said I want to go back to the depression.
Yeah, she's probably like, holy shit.
I want to wrap this up
she's
quickly.
She's like, holy shit, I'm dying. All right, listen, I don't want to be.
No, I was
die.
like,
This
oh
is
my
just
God,
heat
this
stroke.
is it. It's coming. I knew.
But you want it to be
I
safe.
started vomiting water 3 times. Just water. And I felt it was happening right then. I don't know where this Arab came from the sky. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. Okay. From the top of the mountain, there's no way. It's like an 8 to 11 hour hike. You cannot. I don't have water on me. I don't have anything on me for backup, like even to throw on my forehead or like drink a little bit, right? That's what I'm saying. They fully left me. And they left me for like an hour. This guy came out of nowhere. He has like a backpack and he created like this herbal like remedy and whatever. And it brought me back to my present moment. And the whole experience was so interesting because I told him I can't do this. Like I can't go down. Like I felt like I was experiencing like a death. It was like a spiritual death. If he wasn't there, I would have been dead 100% because he had some herbal stuff. I think it really lowered my pressure. Mm-hmm. That's what helped. Because if he wasn't there, I'm pretty sure my heart would have been in a shock. I probably went through a mini heart attack. Like, I'm pretty sure I did.
You were probably dehydrated. It was hot. You had a heat stroke. That's probably
anyhow. So, and it was like an eclipse season, like thing too. So it was very hot. And it was that night. There was a crescent moon. I think we were camping outside. It was like about 4:00 in the morning. I just woke up with them praying and I can hear them. And I felt like my heart was like being purified. Like it was being cut open. Like my heart was like wounded, right? Because I was depressed and I felt abandoned by everybody. It kept repeating itself, the abandonment issue. And I tried all these spiritual modalities. I tried everything. It wasn't working. And I was brought down to my knees. It's happening naturally on its own. And they're all like looking at me. And I think it was that night, subconsciously, I accepted Islam because Islam means to submit. And the crescent moon is very symbolic in Islam. It was beautiful. Like if I could show you guys, the top of the masjids.
Yeah.
There's exactly like that.
Similar to the Turkish flag, yes.
Yeah, but the Turkish flag is not this way.
Regardless,
it's that way.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, so yeah, and then we came back and I was just questioning everything. But I felt whole and I started listening to the Quran every moment and just I gave myself to prayer. And then once I started giving myself to prayer, waking up at this time, doing it at this time, doing this, it killed the depression.
What were you listening to
naturally
the Quran in?
Killed.
What language were you listening to it in?
In Arabic.
Okay. So you understand
From
Arabic?
time to time, I would read in English, but I trained myself because I've studied sound therapy. I have certificates in this. I was helping people. I was even doing psychospirituality at one point, taking psychology with these kind of stuff. Yeah. Take a tuning fork, put it on your wrist or your knees. It actually clears your frequency. It cleans your frequency, just like how it tunes pianos, guitars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there is chanting. You guys know this in every culture, in every religion, every language. Yes. There is a frequency behind it. Studying sound therapy, they found that sand. Have you seen salt on speakers?
Yes.
It turns into mandalas and shapes. Yes. So you can only imagine, right? So I thought to myself, maybe you know what? I kept pushing Islam away, even though I knew it on a theological way. I never allowed myself to just sit there and absorb listening to the Quran. I said, since this is the last one, I think I just have to do it. And when I heard the adhan, the call to prayer in Jordan, it was just pulling me. Like, pray.
And then after that trip, you came
I'm
back.
Armenian. How I can be Muslim? No way. My brain is getting in the way. What are people going to think? What am I going to think? Like, you know what I mean? All these stuff are going through my head. So I just said, you know what? Play it. Start from the beginning until the end. I think it took me maybe 1 month. Every 1 month, the whole Quran. Quran.com. Quran.com. Go on it, listen to it. You can even change the recitator if you don't like his voice. In Arabic and English, it will naturally play if you want to, So I started playing it, and I'm not kidding you. Sometimes I was hyperventilating because I felt like a purification. Some people have told this too. They're like, whoa, I've never heard of that before. But that's how sensitive I am to things. Mm-hmm. And just getting up, praying every day at certain times, it literally, I stopped feeling like, oh my God, everybody has a family. I don't have a family. I was making myself sick with that. Everybody has a family. I don't have a family. I don't have a family. What am I going to do? Holidays, I'm alone. Christmas, I'm alone. I don't have any. Everybody's calling me. Oh, can you help me? They're complaining about their family members. I'm like, shit, I don't have a family. When they're calling me about family. So I made myself sick. Everyone's abandoning me. I don't have anyone. They have each other. I made myself sick. So I felt like that connection to God, the chanting, the recitation, the Quran, the prayers, that's all I needed. So it was a spiritual, it wasn't necessarily depression then. It was more of a spiritual comfort I needed.
It was an awakening for you.
It was a spiritual comfort I needed.
So when you came back from the trip, you just went to the local tattoo artist and said, I want this on my face?
No. I had the tattoos before and then I went on my face.
No, the face one. Oh, you already had it.
I had it.
So you already had
the last tattoo I got on my face was, I think, 2022.
So the face tattoos have nothing to do with the religion?
No.
Nothing.
The face tattoos is more of like, to be honest with you, have you heard of deck tattoos? It's like a Middle Eastern, these are all Middle Eastern, obviously, other than the Armenian. tattoos.
What's on your forehead?
This?
Yes.
It's a cross.
Yeah, I see the cross.
You know King Solomon?
Yes.
The keys of King Solomon? It's right there.
And what's on over the eyebrow?
The dots?
Yes.
Is it the dots or is it the other one?
No, this one. Well, you should know. It's on your face.
No, well, you have the dots on
Believe it or not, I don't stand there and stare at my face where I'm like, I know everything.
I would hope you would look in the mirror before you left the house a couple times at least. So I mean, I'm just curious because from a distance, because I mean, they're somewhat faded, but they're somewhat there. I don't know. It's because you have makeup on your face. I have makeup on my face. Okay, just want to clarify.
Can I tell you something? When I went to Wadi Rum in Jordan, no Armenian that I went with knew any of the meaning of the tattoos. Not the person who did it. Nothing. There was this Bedouin guy, very dark skinned. And why say very dark skinned? Because the original Arabs, they were like, the Bedouins. They were like, they're not in civilization. They're living desert dwellers with the mountains and everything. Very beautiful there. One day, go check it out. This guy came right up to me. He's like one of the head clan of all these tribal leaders and everything. And he, one by one, started explaining my face tattoos. I'm looking at him. I'm like, excuse me? Through the spiritual protection, the actual meaning, including the Armenian ones and the intent I had behind them. I'm just looking at him. All the Armenians are looking at me and him like, what's going on between the two of them? That's how spiritual they are there.
Do you have Armenian writing on your face?
Yeah, I have Badiv. It says Badiv in one of them.
How would you translate Badiv into Armenian?
Honor or dignity.
Dignity, integrity.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one?
Similar intention, right? That just says gananch, like, because Talar is like a Mashta Talar. It's like a.
Just gananch, green?
Yeah, don't ask about that. But he even knew the intent behind that.
So we wouldn't know.
He knew you know what I mean? Like he was able to see right through me. That was the intention, or that was what shocked me. So, but he was said to me, his grandmother, and it's Middle Eastern culture, where the Bedouins particularly, they have this thing where if a woman has face tattoos, it means it's an honor. She's been rewarded for accomplishments in life.
Shit, I mean, if you get a face tattoo, that takes a lot of balls to get a face tattoo.
It's not like American society where it's like, let's get an ice cream cone on my face just because it's cute. And
for us, the first time we saw a face tattoo growing up, Mike Tyson. For us, that's like, when you think of face tattoo.
What about that Muhammad guy?
What Muhammad guy?
Wasn't there a guy named Muhammad? He had like a face tattoo.
That was Mike Tyson.
Is it him?
Mike Tyson. He's a
I
boxer.
thought there was Muhammad as well.
Wait, she's confusing it with Muhammad Ali.
Oh, Muhammad Ali. Just because they're both boxers.
Muhammad Ali doesn't have a tattoo.
No, Muhammad Ali
I think Mike
tattoos.
Tyson is Muslim, no?
I think he became after, right?
But I think he's left it.
Wait, you can't lead Muslim.
How do you know?
You can't leave.
You can't. No one's gonna kill you these days. Come on.
They're not gonna kill you.
Oh, because I know
you're talking about Mike Tyson, bro.
Oh, no one's gonna kill.
Don't you see all these podcasts and YouTube videos of these guys coming out? I used to be a Muslim. Are they dead? They're alive.
No. It's not as strict as it was during Muhammad's time. See, Muhammad had 24 wives. I'm sorry, 24 wives at the time, and the guy did well for himself. What can I tell you? I know you read the Quran daily.
Yes.
But I'm hoping maybe we leave today's show on a little bit of a different note, maybe you could pick up the New Testament and dabble with it, just like
I do.
just like
I do
we've been
read.
dabbling with it.
I read the Testament.
The New Testament.
I never said I'm against Christianity.
Maybe,
Absolutely not.
Maybe allow that to sink in a little bit deeper.
It's just when you're absorbed by the Quran, you feel like it's all one anyways, if you truly understand it spiritually. It's all one message.
Because there's a lot of things where, and I'm glad we had this conversation with you, where I feel like you may or may not be on the fence with certain things as well, and maybe it's a calling for you. The fact that we were here and had this
Are you
conversation
trying to
with
say you want me to become Christian?
I'm not
again?
saying I want you to be Christian. I'm just saying
It's not gonna happen, I know
I'm just saying
myself.
be open minded to it.
I would never tell you that.
I would never tell you to be a Christian.
That you have to. It has to be in you. To be
Yeah, that's
Because
it.
there's something in you calling out to it, and I don't know what it is.
I was baptized at 40 days.
I get it. I'm
as
not
a
listen.
Christian.
Yeah.
This is
You know,
me.
my
this
godfather's
is,
name was Sarkis. He was very so.
No, this is. I'm saying this because there's when you talk, it sounds very cliche. When you sit with somebody and you have a conversation, there's always this energy that bounces back and forth.
Because we have the same God.
No,
So,
I
however,
understand that.
The
I understand
prophets,
that.
look, I believe in Jesus. I believe in his teachings.
Do you believe
it's
that
been
Jesus
changed.
is?
But that's why Christians would never accept me, because I do believe that Jesus is not God. If you don't believe Jesus is not God, you're not a Christian,
Well,
according to a lot of
you know
Christians.
where you end up, right?
I don't believe that.
You just see.
Because our judgment is slightly different
Well,
for Islam.
during Judgment Day, I guess we'll meet and we'll see who ends up where.
We'll go from there.
Technology should move your business forward, not hold it back. At Titan Elite IT Services and Consulting, we make sure it does. Our clients don't wait days for help. They get real-time answers, fast resolutions, and dedicated support, both on-site and remote. From Los Angeles to Orange and Ventura counties, our coverage is local, statewide, and nationwide. When you need us, we're already on the way. We're not just an MSP. We build with you, from cloud migration to security to every endpoint in your network.
At Titan Elite, we don't just solve problems. We prevent them from happening. We become a part of your team and we grow with you.
Titan Elite IT Services and Consulting. Strategic, scalable, trusted, and always on.
Are you looking for a place to kick back and celebrate? Well, the Glenarden Club has got you covered. Upstairs, you got a private lounge with a cigar room. Downstairs, you got the Moose Den, where you can have cocktails and private events. Hey, are you even hungry? They got an outside pizzeria serving one of the best pizzas in town. If you're interested in becoming a member with the Glenarden Club or booking an event, contact the Wisenuts. We'll connect you to the boys at the Glenarden, and you can become a member here or host your next gathering. Towards 2001, Bush is in office, and on September 11th, an attack takes place where two very, very historic buildings collapse after two planes allegedly crash into the building. The owner of the building happened to have pulled out a very hefty insurance policy prior to the attacks. Yeah. What do they call it? A terrorist clause. Yeah.
Terrorist insurance.
It's a rider. Yeah.
Yeah, as Joe said, a terrorist insurance clause. These planes crash into the building.
What was his name? Mr. Larry Silverstein?
Silverstein, Silverman, something like that.
Silverstein, and he had asbestos throughout the building that was going to cost him billions of dollars.
Yeah, he was. But anyways, the planes crash into the building. The buildings are on fire. Hundreds of thousands, if not thousands of people are in scramble mode trying to evacuate the building. The fire department is there. At the time when the attacks took place, there was so many different stories being told on ground zero where people were talking about, I heard bombs.
Right.
Somebody said, there was no plane. I saw a missile.
Of course there were planes.
But anyways, these buildings now collapse. Building number 7, which was not attacked at all, not hit, that collapses. And all of a sudden, there's a big outbreak as far as, all right, you know what? We were attacked by terrorists. It was the Saudis. It was a bunch of Al-Qaeda members. We happened to have found a passport on a domestic flight, which you don't really need a passport, fully intact by a Saudi pilot. We're going to war with Afghanistan. But at the same time, when you go back,
but it wasn't exactly that clear cut, though. The intent was not to go to war with Afghanistan.
What was the intent?
The intent was to destroy Al-Qaeda.
Which was created by who?
Not the United States. That is a very common misconception.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because the stories we've heard is Al-Qaeda was created by the United States, and again, allegedly, in order to fight the Soviets.
No, Al-Qaeda came to Afghanistan after the U.S. pulled out. The Soviets were already gone when Al-Qaeda went to Afghanistan.
Okay.
The U.S. pulled out at the end of 1987, early 1988. Okay. And Al-Qaeda, or what we used to call the Afghan Arabs, some of them were already there and just remained, but Al-Qaeda itself went in the early 1990s.
Wasn't Al-Qaeda, according to your story, created by Osama bin Laden?
Yes.
Because... But Osama created Al-Qaeda, and they fought with the Soviets. And then he also wanted to fight.
Not as Al-Qaeda. They fought as Mujahideen.
Oh, as Mujahideen?
Yeah.
It was with Iraq that he wanted to fight as Al-Qaeda. Is that what it was in the 90s? Because I know he had issues. Osama bin Laden had issues with Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, he hated Saddam Hussein as much as he hated us.
Yeah, because Saddam also... that was at the period where Saddam wanted to attack Kuwait.
Well, that was before Al-Qaeda was founded. Saddam attacked Kuwait on August the 2nd, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
But it had nothing to do with religion or Afghanistan or the Soviet Union. It was about oil.
Yeah.
The Kuwaitis, there's an oil field called the Rumaila field that like 98% of it, it's very long and narrow. It looks like Chile. 98% of it is in Iraq, and just the southernmost tip of it crosses the border into Kuwait. And the Kuwaitis were slant drilling. So they went under the Iraqi border and they were stealing the oil. And so they got caught. The Iraqis caught them. And so the Iraqis started, rattling their sabers and threatening the Kuwaitis. Finally, they invaded on August the 2nd. And most everybody just assumed they're going to take that little 2% across the border, and that's going to be the end of it. Most people didn't expect that they're going to take the whole of Kuwait, and they did it in under 24 hours. But then, even back then, Osama bin Laden was, to the best of my recollection, he was still in Saudi Arabia in 1990. He went to Sudan. We asked the Sudanese to throw him out. He briefly went to Qatar. And the Clinton administration asked the Qataris to grab him. He was at the airport transiting. And we asked the Qataris to grab him. And they said, okay, but we need charging documents. What crime has he been charged with? Well, because we're idiots, we had never charged him with a crime. There wasn't even a grand jury that had been assembled. So we said, we don't have a crime. They said, we can't just kidnap him. And so they let him go, and he went on to Afghanistan. So he got to Afghanistan, I'm going to say in 95, 96, something like that.
But there's a lot of rumors that he was also somehow linked to the CIA.
Everybody says that.
Is there any truth to that?
No.
Because I think his hatred towards the U.S. came in because his father was a contractor who worked.
Oh, his father was Abdurrahman bin Laden. He was one of the richest men in the world, not just a contractor, like the contractor for the whole Middle East. You want to build an airport or an interstate highway system, you went to bin Laden Construction.
And he was the one who built all the refineries for the California company that moved there in the 30s.
Aramco, that became Aramco.
Yeah.
The Arab American Oil Company.
But going back to where the conversation began as far as 9/11 is concerned, how much U.S. involvement was there in the attacks of 9/11?
I honestly don't believe that there was official U.S. involvement.
You do really think that we were attacked by?
Yeah, I do. Now, I'm not an architect. I can't say, Building 7, I don't know, controlled demolitions. You hear all these different things. I've also heard The Saudi royal family did it. The Bush family did it. The space aliens did it. The Jews did it. The Israeli government did it. Everybody's got a theory. But I'm telling you, in that year before 9/11, at the CIA, we were panic stricken because we knew a major attack was coming and we had no idea when and where.
Have you ever been to the Pentagon?
Oh, 1,000 times.
Is Pentagon considered one of the, if not the most secured building in the world?
No.
No?
No. You can drive right up to it.
And you can just go inside?
No, you can't go inside anymore. I mean, you could before 9/11, sure. There was even a barbershop there. You could just go get your hair cut at the barbershop.
But as far as
inside the Pentagon.
Yeah, my cousin Angela was a barber there for years, 30 years.
But as far as like security cameras and all, did it exist during 9/11?
Yeah.
So how come we don't have any footage of the
Because
airplane?
because they never released it. But you're also discounting the literally tens of thousands of people, including my best friend, who were sitting in rush hour traffic watching that plane fly right into the side of the building.
We haven't seen a single clip of...
Because they haven't released them.
No, as far as like, let's say from your best friend or from somebody, because there's thousands of clips of the planes flying into the
there were no
Twin Towers.
Camera phones back then. And you're not driving, in rush hour like this just in case a plane flies into the side of the building. People were just sitting in rush hour traffic.
There was no even debris though.
Sure there was.
Plane parts?
Sure. The plane hit the ground and skidded into the side of the building. There was debris all over the place. It took weeks to clean it up. I live in Arlington. We were down there every single day.
See, I don't remember seeing any clips of any debris back
But this
then.
this is part of the danger is the years pass and people forget some of the details. We latch on to these ideas or theories and we just forget about what it was when it was actually playing out.
Because some of these, when you look at how a plane is built, a lot of it is like fiberglass, and
Right.
Obviously there's some
Very thin aluminum
and stuff.
Yeah.
How does something like that fly into a building and take down concrete, steel, glass?
See, but do you remember though when it first hit, it actually didn't penetrate beyond the first ring. It didn't take out the building. It was that almost V-shaped hole in the first of the 5 rings and didn't penetrate beyond that.
But then you look at the same plane, if not actually more advanced, recently in India that took off and then it crashed into a building. The plane was still intact. There was a lot of the plane that was still somewhat standing.
And the building didn't collapse.
And the building didn't collapse either. And it was a much older building as well.
Yeah,
But all of a sudden that one plane was able to take down that steel structure. That's where the question...
Are you talking about the World Trade Center?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I had somebody describe it to me as like a tin can. Right. If you've got a tin can and you push down on the top, it's strong. You can't smash it. If you put a little chink in the side and push down, you can smash it.
But how many floors is the World Trade?
It was like 105 or 110, something like that.
And it wasn't like it was hit right in the middle. It was hit at the top.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that top portion was able to completely demo it to the ground?
Like I say, I'm not an architect or engineer,
Yeah.
but that was my understanding. And you don't hear it very often anymore. There was this line of theory about thermite paint and nanothermite and all this shit that doesn't exist that people ran with for years. Like, oh, they painted with explosive paint. It had thermite in it. It's like, no.
Yeah. Those were a little bit over the edge.
There was a lot of people that interviewed weeks after or years after that said we heard a lot of dynamites and kind of like, how they...
but I mean, how easy would it be to just in this chaos that's happening that day, you hear an explosion and you just assume it's dynamite? I mean, has there ever been any dynamite that was found or dynamite residue? No.
It can be. Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying.
Dynamite residue that we know of. I mean, who's doing the investigation at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the evidence that
what they want us to see, they'll allow us to see. What they
look at
don't
it
want
this
us
way,
to
then.
see, we won't see.
Let's look at the issue of the controlled demolition.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it would take and how much work it would entail to wire those buildings with explosives? And not a single person ever noticed that, they're wiring the entire buildings to be detonated.
Well, the stories behind that were that there was a lot of construction being taken place. There was a lot of construction taking place late nights when everybody was exiting the building.
Right.
So
I remember
whether it was the asbestos testing that they were doing or strapping dynamite to the building, nobody knows. Again, these are, I hate saying the word, these are conspiracy theories that take place where you just look back and you say, all right, what really did happen? And you ask these questions, and it's all dialogue at the end of the day where you have this conversation with different people and you get different perspectives. But obviously there are people that go to the extreme.
Oh yeah, sure.
The paint that you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's like, dude, all right, calm down with the whole paint
the
situation.
nanothermite paint.
Yeah. But then at the same time, you look at other things and it's logical where you're like, dude, please explain to me how that top of the building
how do you
down the
explain
entire
building
structure.
7? How do you explain
exactly
building 7?
Building 7
was also had a giant tank underneath it that was the emergency fuel,
and that blew
for what was it, NYPD or for the city of New York or whatever it is, held thousands and thousands of gallons of fuel. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Because look, you've in recent interviews, you've mentioned how you think what Mossad pulled off with the whole pager bombs is probably the most brilliant thing ever.
Absolutely brilliant.
So you don't think, for example, they had the capacity to put up some demolition? No.
How would they do that?
How did they pull off this whole pager thing?
Oh, well, there's a big difference.
A decade.
There's a big difference between taking 10 years to take over the supply chain than to go into the World Trade Center and start wiring it for demolition. There's huge difference. And I come back to what they told us in our very first day of CIA analytic training. You have to lay out the evidence. It's one thing to say, dancing Israelis. Okay, well, what the fuck's that supposed to mean, dancing? Yeah, there were dancing Israelis. You know why they were dancing? Because they knew that those attacks meant we were going to start killing thousands and thousands of Muslims. That's why they were dancing.
Yeah, there was interviews as well of individuals at Ground Zero where they asked them, what do you think about the events that took place? And there were Israelis, Jewish women and men who were smiling from ear to ear saying,
absolutely, they were thrilled.
Now the United States sees what we've been going through. And we get it. But for them, it's like, I don't know, man.
But again, I come back to evidence. These are all interesting theories, but you got to lay out the evidence. And every time somebody says to me, oh, it was the Mossad, somebody else says to me, it was the Bush family, or it was the Saudi royal family. They're all evil. Okay, well, who was it? Was it the Israelis? Was it the Saudis? Was it the Bushes? I told you, the lizard people came down and they did it. I've actually gotten that. I heard the FBI did it. I heard the CIA did it. I'm like, yeah, we blew up our own building. Of course.
So you believe it was bin Laden who did it?
Of course I do. And bin Laden said afterwards in an interview with Al Jazeera, not an interview, but it was a tape that he sent to Al Jazeera, that they wanted to wreck the American economy to lead to the collapse of the United States, and that they were planning another attack, his words, that would dwarf 9/11. That's why we went after them like we did. We were afraid of another attack.
Some doctors treat pain, others help you understand it. Dr. Rafi Gureghian has dedicated his career to helping people live stronger, healthier, and more aware of their bodies. His approach goes beyond quick fixes. It's about rebuilding movement, discipline, and mindset. A true professional who's changing the way people think about health and recovery. Presented by the Wisenuts podcast, highlighting leaders who make a difference.
When you're involved in an accident, choosing the right attorney is the most important decision you can make. Let us show you why we're different at Megeredchian Law. With 11 attorneys on our team, we're able to go to trial and fight for your case. More important, the pedigree of our firm is customer service, so you always get a call, you always get an update. Lastly, we're results driven. We win. Let us show you how. Call us at 818-530-1300 or bestcaraccidentattorney.com.
back when I worked in the jail, the only inmate I can think of is, inmate Asuna.
No, tell us about him.
Asuna, the one that's famous, that decapitated, killed his cellie, cut him all in pieces and shit at Corcoran State Prison.
Hold on, let me look this
Was
up.
he the one that was talking about the child molester, like where he killed someone, took his life or whatever? It was like it went viral. Was that the guy?
No, this guy's a lot worse. He actually, he's a Satanism worshiper, and he's never been allowed to have a cell. He's always been single cell. Well, about a couple years ago, he convinced mental health, hey, I'm saying I'm okay to have a cellie. So they moved an inmate into his cell. And over the night, he convinced that inmate, hey, you need to be a Satan worship like me. Like, you know what I mean? This is what you need to be. We need to be able to trust each other.
This is the guy?
Yeah.
Holy shit, look at him.
So
we'll put up a
I remember
this.
this.
That face.
Hey, hold on. Is this the guy that decapitated somebody's?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is that guy?
Yeah. So I was going to backtrack to talk about when he started his career because I met him in Kern County. I booked him into jail.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see how scary he looks?
So Jaime Osuna is his name.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was incarcerated in Kern County.
So I want to say he's from Bakersfield. And I forget if he killed like a prostitute. He killed a lady and we booked him into Kern County jail. And what I was getting at is the dude's always been crazy. He's actually a ex-Southerner, but he's always been like a Satanism worshiper. So he's always kind of like just been a little different. But he would gas officers with blood. He would cut himself, put blood in a little milk carton or the little peanut butter and jelly packs. He would cut the side and like cut his wrist and then let the blood leak out in there. And then when you'd walk by the cell, he'd squeeze the packet so it'd get all over your face. But when he did stuff like that, we would drag him out of a cell and put him in observation. We didn't give him, he got one little bar for the whole day. And that had all of his vitamins and nutrients for the day. So in my opinion, back to what you were saying about the guy eating Carl's Jr. or whatever, the burger.
Yeah.
And, talking about how that was bad in my opinion. We would literally just throw that fucking bar in there and that's all he ate all day. I thought that was hardcore.
I think he should have ate more than that bar, bro. I think he should have ate a nightstick, a fist, maybe a kick or two as well. Unless he did and we just don't know about it. I don't know. Maybe he did.
Yeah. So if you backtrack back in like 2012, Kern County, and you look at the paper, the detention deputies killed an inmate and with the baton. So we weren't allowed to work in downtown jail because of that. They killed an inmate, taking him up to the elevator.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, those guys were hardcore. So we were only allowed to work at Lerdo, Lerdo jail after that. But yeah, being a kid working in Bakersfield, you have Lerdo, all your Oildale, big old country white boys. They're crazy.
So let's go back to Jaime's story. Were you there working when the decapitation happened?
No. So I ran 3A facility as a sergeant. Asuna was on 4A. So as soon as he's been at Corcoran and CSP SAC, he would bounce back and forth to state prisons for his mental health. So he'd go to CSP SAC and then psychologists would evaluate him. They would change his mental health status. But he spent most of his time at Corcoran. And, he's not a big dude. So whatever. He is what it is. We never really had any issues with him. He wasn't like a guy that was trying to hurt us. Like we have inmates that'll stab us in the face. He was just the kind of guy that would try to throw shit on you, whatever, So we didn't really consider him too much of a threat. But yeah, this is the thing in prison. You have custody and you have medical and you have mental health. And we all have different missions, but we all got to work together. And mental health made the decision to give him a cellmate. And we're like, hey, I don't care what that guy's telling you. Like, I don't think it's a good idea you do that. But that's not our place. That's where a psychologist, mental health come in. Well, they made that call and they cleared him. Double cell clear, meaning he can have a cellmate. And the next day they put a Mexican dude in there. And on that night shift, what they did was they put a curtain in front of the cell door. And every time the officer would go and do the check, he would impersonate him and the other inmate. He got the inmate, he tied the inmate up. And he said, hey, I want to tie you up. You need to be able to trust me. So he tied up his feet and his hands. And once he had him tied up, he just started slowly cutting him and eating him. And
wow.
You know,
Why was there a curtain?
So he's in an ADSEG setting. They call it restricted housing unit now. But in an ADSEG setting, it's required every 30 minutes, an officer has to go physically pipe or check the cell door. So every time an officer would walk by, they hung a curtain up. So that way the officer couldn't see inside the cell. And this is where a lot of officers fuck up.
Where did they get a curtain from?
The sheets. They'll just
okay.
make it. But, you know, what we're told is you account for live breathing flesh. So I got to physically see you, right? What he did is he put a sheet up and he told the officers, hey man, you know what I mean? We're working out. We're good. And then he would impersonate the other guy. Oh yeah, we're good, man. So the officer, all right, piped it, never saw, and kept going.
So here's the story. So Jaime Osana, 31 years old, had decapitated the body of his cellmate, Luis Romero, 44 years old, with a makeshift knife, state document shows. But after the prison guards made their round, they reported that both men were alive, as you said, according to the reports with the California State Prison. The reports then later found that Jaime was actually impersonating the other cellmate.
Yeah, for fucking 8 hours.
That is freaking insane, bro.
Yeah, and, you know, that's one of those things where obviously the officer fucked up, you know, and so the second watch gets there. The day shift works 6 to 2. So the officer that gets there at 6, he's like, hey, man, move your curtain. I need to see you. No, man, we're good. You know what I mean? We're good. He's fine. We're barely getting up. He's taking a bird bath. He's showering. Move. I need to see you, man. Open the curtain. This officer obviously is doing his job right. He's not leaving until he can physically see both the inmates. Well, I heard it was something like this. He's like, you sure you want to see this? And he's like, hey, move the curtain, man. I need to see you guys. So, all right. Move the curtain. And there was pictures floating around because the ISU fucked up because the investigations team goes in there, takes pictures, video. Well, they started sharing those fucking pictures everywhere. And I mean, you're talking about the dude's intestines hanging from the ceiling, eyeballs hanging from the mirrors, pieces of his ear were on the floor. It was bad.
And this guy passed the psych exam, huh?
Well, he passed the interview by the psychologist to say he was sane.
Did you guys was the psychologist ever questioned for his or her sanity or?
No.
I mean, because it's one thing to kill somebody. It's another thing to decapitate them. And now you're at a whole different level where you take the intestines out and you decorate your cell with his, you know, organs and eyeballs and everything. I mean, that's
so
insane.
Listen to this story. So Osana was serving a life sentence for killing and torturing Yvette Peña, 37 years old, at a Bakersfield motel in 2011. With face tattoos and a flair of Charles Manson, like satanic antics, he became a dark figure during the 2017 trial, mocking the victim's family and bragging on television and to news reporters about the love he had for torturing people.
I think they must have took it off, but when he was being sentenced for that, and they asked him, hey, do you have anything you want to say? It's pretty sick. I mean,
what does he say?
He just takes pride. You know, he's like, I'm so happy I was able to kill her.
So see, an individual like that, where clearly in the article it states it as well, where he tortured somebody.
Yeah.
He took pride in it. And then obviously on camera, in front of a judge, the jury, and the entire family was bragging about how he tortured this 37-year-old victim, Yvette Peña. And you have a psych evaluation and you decide, all right, you know what? I get it. You have the Charles Manson look. You're satanic. You've been spraying, these officers with blood. But for the past 30 days, you know what? You're sane enough to sit down with another cellmate or have another cell bunkie with you.
I wonder what was the other guy for? The one that was decapitated.
He was.
You don't remember?
He wasn't. From my understanding, he was just older Mexican guy in there for just some.
But he's 44.
Yeah, just some stupid shit, like nothing.
Nothing. Is he still alive in prison, or they took care of him? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Okay, so the other guy, the Romero guy, was serving 27 years in prison for first-degree murder.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, second degree murder. So fatally shooting a woman in Compton when he was a teenager at the time.
Yeah, there's thousands of those guys at Corcoran. I mean,
yeah. So he was a gang member.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, these two had nothing. They did not know each other at all.
No. So what Asuna would do, and I'd see him do it, is and they communicate through the vents to talk to other inmates because they're all single cell, most of them. So they would talk through the vents, and they would travel to the other cells above them or below them, and he would talk to that inmate, say, "Hey man, I'm so and so, and hey, if you ever have time, you should read this Bible. It'll really touch with you." He's convincing this inmate over time. And then he starts telling the psychologist, "Hey, well, I'm good friends with Romero."
Yeah, Romeo.
Or
Romero.
Yeah, I know him. We've been talking. He keeps me feeling normal. It feels good to talk to somebody. You're building up this whole story, and then you get a psychologist. And I get it. I can't speak for what they do, but in a prison, you have master manipulators in there. That's all they know how to do is work people. So he's been single cell for 8 years. Like I said, I met him in the county. Single cell. We've extracted him at least 4 times in the county. And then fast forward, he does his time in the state. I work Kern County, start my career at VSP, promote to CTF Soledad, and then transfer to Corcoran State Prison. And that's where I see him again at Corcoran State Prison. And after he did all that, he had to go to CSP SAC. So that way they can monitor him and be evaluated by more psychologists. When we had to transfer him, I took me and my guys, when he came back, me and my guys went to go pick him up because he ended up coming to our facility. And everyone's all scared, because of what he did. So I said, I'll go with you guys. You know what I mean? So we go over there, and I just keep it real short and dry. I say, hey, what's going on, man? We're going to take you to 303 building. It's an EOP ADSEG. So we're going to take you to this building. Are we good? Meaning, are we going to have any issues? And he looks at me, and he goes, oh, Duran, no, I'm good. I'm just full. I'm still full from the other day. And I was just like, it's just sick, man. You know what I mean?
As in he got whatever temptation he had and whatever he was looking to do, he's satisfied at this point. So he's not going to hurt anybody.
No, he's saying he's full because he ate that guy.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's saying, I'm still full because of all the meat I ate.
That's a different level of insanity.
See, how do you leave that man in jail? How do you let that guy even see any sort of daylight?
Because they still have the same human rights you and I do, unfortunately.
Dude, he has
But the guy he just ate didn't have the same human rights?
You should see the girls that come and visit him. Talking about fucking porn stars.
Visit him as in like that type of visits or?
No, he doesn't get visits like that. To get a conjugal visit, you got to be legally married. But I mean, all these girls admire some of the shit he's done.
So how they come and visit him? How? Just to speak to him over that behind the
Through
glass?
a glass, through a phone.
Okay.
And they'll sign up. Once a visitor gets approved, then once a week he could technically have a visit. So they'll come. And I used to be the visiting sergeant. So any female that would come, we'd have to process them in.
How do you not give somebody like this the death penalty, Mo?
But forget the death penalty. And then you hear women, on Instagram, there's no good men out there. Are you looking in the right places? I mean, yeah.
I mean,
it's like
I've had to cancel girls like visits because they would get in there talking to him, and the first thing they want to do is start flashing him to, show their tits and everything. And obviously that's not allowed. So
not even for him.
Unfortunately.
Unless he's going to eat them.
Yeah.
And mind you, what I don't understand is how a prison guard did not catch any sort of noise or, I mean,
it's no different than if your kids are pretending to sleep or something and you walk by, you're like, you don't want to bother them. They're like, no,
my kids aren't
we're
shanking each other with knives, bro.
I understand. But
I mean, okay, where did he start? Where did he end? Did he stab him in the neck? Okay, you didn't hear any gargling or anything? You didn't hear anybody scream, yell? I mean,
so because he was interviewed and he had to talk about all this. He shared it like a story he loved. But he convinced the inmate, hey, I'm a Satanism worshiper, so are you. So I want you to tie me up so I could trust you. And in return, I got to tie you up. So tied up as soon or whatever. He's okay. Let me tie you up now, so that way we can trust each other. So he tied up his legs. He tied up his hands. Did a tie around his mouth and his eyes. And I heard he started cutting his throat. Then he cut his tongue out, so he couldn't make any noise. And then he just started eating them.
Oh man, gee, and this is on, and he spoke about this openly on video.
Oh yeah, he was interviewed for hours.
Is there a video on this that we could see?
So
Joe?
no, not that, but
I don't know. Maybe we could.
there was a video. The ISU, they showed the cell. Dude, if you saw the cell, it looked like something from the Saw. It was crazy.
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
Bro. I don't even want to picture.
How do you
You
spell
said
his name?
intestines. It's Jaime.
Jaime.
Yeah, and then last name is
Osuna.
Osuna.
Yeah.
Because you said there was ears, intestines, eyeballs.
No, everything. Intestines, it's long, 20, 30 feet or whatever it is. Yeah, this shit wrapped all over the fucking cell.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
man!
Mm-hmm. Fingers. He had the middle finger cut off, flipping us off, taped on the walls, everything.
That's a different type of psychopath.
Yeah, and he did it he was just like, man, I am so honored that I was able to do this. Thank you so much. Like just normal. And then I when we went to go get him, this is how sick some of us are. Like I'm eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich as he's talking to me, just because I got to eat. I'm hungry. But thinking about what he said afterwards, I'm like, God, that's horrible. But I mean,
Well, I mean, in your line of work, I guess you get used to it. I knew this guy who was a young guy too. He was an embalmer, big guy. And when he would embalm the deceased, he'd be having, sandwich, and then he'd throw them on his back and move around the facility and put them back down.
Put the sandwich on their belly.
So, I mean, the guy was used to it. You and I could probably not even step into that room, but he didn't mind eating a sandwich in that room.
I saw my first dead body when I was 20 years old. Over there in Lerdo, the Northerners were a big population. And this one Northerner was no good. So they told his cellie, hey, take him out. So he was in a wheelchair. So he waited till he was going to get ready to go to bed, and he choked him out right there in his wheelchair. So he died right there. So I'm going over there to pull him out for court, and the inmate's proned out, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I tell him to cuff up, and then this is my first time ever seeing like a dead body, like rigor mortis, all fucked up, 20 years old. So just kind of like a little shocking, a little eye-opening. And you just kind of go from there, and fast forward like 2-3 weeks, this one kid was talking all this about where he's from and big bad. That's all cool until you go to prison, because prison, it's all about numbers. And the first thing they do is check you out to see what you're about. If you say you're from this area, cool. I'm going to go verify it. And if you're no good, you're no good. Well, this one Northerner was doing all this shit, talking, and some of the other guys liked the way he looked. They're like, hey, this kid has a nice little ass on him. And he was doing all this. Fuck you. This is going to be my area. And then
They said, well, we're going to show you what our area is.
He's got a nice little asshole.
I did. So the next day, he's pushing the buzzard. And I'm like, what's going on, man? Because we're on the inside. We can't see. And he's like, you need to get me out of here. I was like, all right. So I open the door, and the control booth is telling me, like, hey, Alex, get him medical, And I'm like, what's going on with him? I'm like, I don't know. So I open the door, and from his boxers down, it's just full of blood. They had like 4 or 5 different guys. They all each raped him.
Oh, jeez, bro.
Yeah. And so I had to take him to medical, and he's walking all ball-legged, and the guys are all laughing, because they fucked the shit out of him or whatever. But I mean, that's the kind of shit that was going on back then, and so 20, 21 years old, seeing all that, it's kind of like, what the fuck, and then, yeah.
When you're involved in an accident, choosing the right attorney is the most important decision you can make. Let us show you why we're different at Megeredchian Law. With 11 attorneys on our team, we're able to go to trial and fight for your case. More important, the pedigree of our firm is customer service, so you always get a call, you always get an update. Lastly, we're results driven. We win. Let us show you how. Call us at 818-530-1300 or bestcaraccidentattorney.com.
Some doctors treat pain, others help you understand it. Dr. Rafi Gureghian has dedicated his career to helping people live stronger, healthier, and more aware of their bodies. His approach goes beyond quick fixes. It's about rebuilding movement, discipline, and mindset. A true professional who's changing the way people think about health and recovery. Presented by the Wisenuts podcast, highlighting leaders who make a difference.
Technology should move your business forward, not hold it back. At Titan Elite IT Services and Consulting, we make sure it does. Our clients don't wait days for help. They get real-time answers, fast resolutions, and dedicated support, both on-site and remote. From Los Angeles to Orange and Ventura counties, our coverage is local, statewide, and nationwide. When you need us, we're already on the way. We're not just an MSP, we build with you. From cloud migration to security to every endpoint in your network.
At Titan Elite, we don't just solve problems. We prevent them from happening. We become a part of your team and we grow with you.
Titan Elite IT Services and Consulting. Strategic, scalable, trusted, and always on.
There is a kind of a misconception about helicopters. People believe because helicopter crashes are so scary, they believe that they're inherently more dangerous. But the truth is, if you lose an engine in a helicopter, a lot of times you are 100 times better off than if you're in an airplane without power, because the airplane needs that same thing. It needs a long stretch of flat, unobstructed terrain, like a road or a runway, so that the airplane, the pilot, can dissipate their forward energy. So they get the wheels on the ground and then they have to stop, but it takes a distance. And if you're over a city or a bunch of rocks, you don't necessarily have that much flat, unobstructed room to do that. Whereas a helicopter, a lot of times they can auto rotate right onto a helipad. So basically a point. They could theoretically land in between cars in a parking lot, because if they don't need a long run on, they can just set it down.
By auto rotate, what did you mean by that?
So people think when the engine of a helicopter quits that it just falls like a brick. But depending on the machine and the design of the rotor system, they can actually continue to fly. And again, depending on the rotor system and the amount of inertia it has in it, the pilot is looking for a place to land, but he's still in control of the machine. And so, sometimes my pilots will be flying over Los Angeles or something, and we're going to go get fuel, and they'll cross over the airport, and you'll say, "Okay, Dave, here we go. We're going to auto," and they'll roll the throttle back, which takes the power out of the engine. And they lower the collective, and they basically steer us down to our landing spot. And it's basically like coasting. And
so if the propeller completely stops, you can still coast and land.
So the reason it's called auto rotation, let's say you're flying the president to the White House and both engines fail. Well, the pilots have trained and practiced for that, and what they'll do is it's called lowering the collective. So they basically take the power out of the rotary wing. So now the aircraft descends, and the air is coming up through the rotor blades. And because of how they've adjusted the collective pitch of both blades, or all four blades, for example, the air pressure is going up through the blades like a fan in reverse, and it spins the blades. And they do that because they want a certain RPM. So now they're coming down, they're steering to where they want to land. There's no power from the engines, so somewhere in the White House lawn, they pick their spot. Okay, we can make it to there. And because the air is auto rotating the blades, once they get to that spot, they can now pull the power back in, and it slows the aircraft. The aircraft comes into ground effect. So now the blades have even more power than they did up there, and because they're pressing right against the ground, and they cushion the descent and basically gently stop the aircraft and set it on the grass next to the White House.
That sounds terrifying.
It's funny because I think who were we having the discussion with about a week ago or a few days ago? Because
Me.
right,
Yeah, we were having a discussion about that.
and because I remember years ago I saw a short on YouTube of, I think it was some military helicopter that was landing to show we can land even if the propeller, the engine's off. And that's the first time I learned about that it's possible to land a helicopter if the engine shuts off. Because everybody knows, let's say if you're flying a Cessna or whatever plane, you can glide. And I think it, depending on the weight and size of the plane, it's coming down about 500 to 1,000 feet per minute gliding down. So you've got, if you're 20,000 feet up, you've got, 10, 15, 20 minutes to find a landing strip, like you said. But with the helicopter, you just need what, like a 20, 30 feet of space practice, right?
Yeah, you don't need much room. So there was one helicopter pilot in Los Angeles. He lost his engine and he literally landed on top of one of the rooftop helipads, which is just a small disc on top of the building. And going back to the president, okay, he can't do that in Air Force One. If Air Force One loses all 4 engines, they need a big area. They'll be fine, but they need a big flat area to get the airplane down and get it stopped. Whereas Air Force or Marine One does not need a giant slab of flat earth to safely get the airplane down and stopped. The Marine One just needs an area pretty much the size of the helicopter where they can get the aircraft down and stopped and everyone can get out.
Because some of the newer planes, like the Cessnas and the Series,
Series mainly, not the.
I think the new Cessnas have it too. It's got a built-in parachute where you can launch it, and obviously once you launch it, I think the plane is kind of done in a sense. But at least you get to land safely. But helicopters, I've never heard of a helicopter having a parachute.
They've experimented with it. I think there's at least one product line that has it, as a feature. And, a lot of times when the planes use their parachute, it's simply because the pilot is confused. So in the case of Cirrus aircraft, it could be someone who accidentally flew themselves into the clouds, because that's what happened to Kobe's helicopter. He accidentally flew into the clouds and got confused, and the helicopter flipped over and crashed into the ground. Well, that happens to airplane pilots. And some of those guys don't have the skills to fly in the clouds, and they don't know where they are, and they don't know where anything is, and they don't know if they're turning or not. And typically what happens is they accidentally start turning and they enter what's known as a death spiral, and they don't know. They can't really feel it, but the plane is spiraling into the ground. And so a lot of times when the Cirrus owners will use their parachutes because they're in the clouds and they don't know where anything is, and they say, you know what, screw it. Pull the thing. It's called a ballistic parachute. It shoots out of the plane and opens. And now they can just sort of chill and float down through the cloud. And even if they're over a mountain, well, now they're not going to hit the mountain at 100 miles an hour. Now they're just going to gently set down on the mountain. And so it's a real lifesaver.
So you brought up Kobe's helicopter crash. As far as his accident that took place, did his helicopter pilot not have any sort of GPS or anything on there to kind of understand that, all right, you know what? There's literally a mountain in front of me, or I'm flying in an area that I shouldn't be flying in. What really happened with Kobe's accident?
Again, I'm not a pilot, so there's not too much I can say outside of the headlines, except that they got into the clouds and the pilot was confused, as far as my understanding. It's very easy to do. I've talked to many helicopters who have done it. I was talking to Black Hawk pilots one day, and they were flying kind of in and out of the clouds just to get somewhere. And both pilots kept getting confused. So they're flying this Black Hawk, and the weather's kind of like
iffy.
Kind of iffy. So sometimes they're out of the clouds, sometimes they poke in the clouds a little bit. And the pilot who's flying the other pilot starts yelling at him, bro, my machine. So the other guy takes the controls. And the first pilot is like, well, why'd you do that? You were starting to turn. I was? Yeah. So the other pilot was watching the instruments, and the first pilot didn't realize he was a little bit in the clouds, couldn't see the horizon very well, and got confused. And unbeknownst to him, he was starting to turn. And the other pilot saw that. He goes, hey, my machine. So he takes over and he's flying now. And then the other pilot starts yelling at him, bro, what are you doing? My machine. He takes the controls back. And now the other pilot is saying, what'd you do that for? And he goes, you were starting to turn. I was? And it was happening to both of them. And so the pilot who was watching the instruments knew, but the guy on the controls didn't. And that's how easy it is when you enter the clouds or even bad visibility.
There's no like auto, I don't know what it would be called, balance or gate, where it just kind of, if it notices you're swaying to the right or left or whatever, for it to bring it back to balance. Because technically a helicopter, I mean, unless you're deliberately turning, it's not supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be straight, just like most aircraft.
Every year they build more and more safety into the helicopters that they're building. However, you have to know to turn that on. So if you can't feel that you're starting to turn, you wouldn't even bother with that. That's like you're driving your car down the freeway and everything feels fine, but unbeknownst to you, you're actually starting to cross over into the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of experienced that actually this morning. I was driving my kids to school, and in the canyons, it was very foggy, and you literally couldn't see more than 20 feet ahead of you. So I kind of had to bring my head closer to the windshield and kind of squinting my eyes to make sure I could see ahead of me, because sometimes those cars don't have the lights on, as far as, you know, the
Tail lights.
tail lights. When you're supposed to in the canyon or during a fog, right? So I was squinting and trying to make sure I see all the cars ahead of me, but it makes sense, especially if you're in the air. There is no lane, there is no mountain, there are no trees for you to be able to gauge anything. So you have to be able to rely on the instruments, I would think.
You know, what I would say is the aircraft are getting better and safer all the time. And it's just as far as getting lost in the clouds and accidentally either turning and causing a problem and falling out of the sky or hitting something is one of the most common type of aircraft accidents. So it was a freak accident that had happened to Kobe, but it can be done. And so, you know, in the world of aviation, they just build in more and more safety to avoid situations like that. But then you add a person like an NBA player or a president or the owner of a major corporation, and their time is valuable. They don't like to hear, well, sir, I don't know if we can land where we're going. Might not be able to land there. We might have to divert, you know, over here, which is a 2-hour drive to where you're going. 2 hours?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can't you just go take a look? All right, sir. Well, you know, I wouldn't normally, but just for you, I'll just at least go take it, you know, and then next thing you know, we're having a problem that we wouldn't have had.
And in Kobe's case, it costed him, his daughter, and the lives of many others.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what happened to Kobe. I'm just painting the picture.
No. I know. But a lot of people have somewhat talked about that as being Kobe's quote unquote ego, that he was very adamant about being somewhere at the right place at the right time, not being late. he didn't like driving because he didn't want to be stuck in traffic because of whether it was back issues or legs or just being so, so he was so injured back in the days that he couldn't sit in the car for a very long time. So everything was kind of like chop chop.
Plus, he was accustomed to. He lived in Newport Beach, and even flying to the crypto back then, the Staples Center, he would fly in a helicopter every game. He wouldn't drive from Newport Beach to LA.
Random fact, by the way.
What is it?
The same pilot that took Kobe, me and my family went with him to Catalina Island.
I am terrified of helicopters. I don't think I would ever set foot in a helicopter.
Well, let me dispel that for you. It's helicopter travel is one of the safest ways to travel. And in the case of Kobe Bryant, he traveled by helicopter for years, maybe his whole career.
Yeah.
And just that one day they had a freak accident. And, for me, it's a reminder. It's not like, oh, we should all fear helicopters. It's actually the opposite. It's more like, well, here's a dude who was in an industry unto himself. He was so beloved that when he had his accident, millions of people grieved as if a member of their family had been lost.
100%. 100%.
And so if a guy like that can be walking along through his life, 1 second he's the king of the world, and then the next second he's gone. It's just a reminder to me that life is precious, and none of us have a guarantee of safety. And even a guy who's flying in one of the most successful and safest aircraft, which is what he was in. He was flying in a machine that Donald Trump flies in. He was flying in a machine that heads of state fly in. It's very solid. It's very safe. So if he can have a problem, what could happen to me in traffic?
It's interesting we're talking about Kobe today, because this morning, driving my boys to school, I was actually playing. Some mornings I'll play like motivational clips on YouTube, and they'll just listen to it. And this morning I was playing different speeches, kind of like a collection of Kobe Bryant speeches. And man, while driving, it made me very emotional. And the fact that now we're talking about Kobe is kind of ironic, because some of the things he was talking about, his winning spirit and his mentality, the Mamba mindset mentality. And because I have like a 20-25 minute drive every morning, and I was listening to that. It made me very emotional.
I can't believe it's going to be 6 years in January.
Yeah, January 22nd, I think it was.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 years. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys all next week.